All right, guys, back to the screencast. We've got 7-1 fractions and percent. Again, let's try to stay away from the intimidation on the fractions. We want to just work them all the same way. Let's start with if they give us percentages, and get back to my pen. Let's say they give me 38%, and they want me to change that to a fraction. 38 is a percentage of how much. When we're doing percentages, it's always out of 100. So I can rewrite this to 38 over 100, and then I just reduce it. I know that 2 goes into both of those, so 2 is going to go into 38 19 times, and 2 is going to go into 100 50 times. So that answer would be 19 over 50. If they give us a fraction of a percent, let's say 16 and 1/2%, and they want us to change that into a fraction. Well, what we've done really in the first one is we took 38 and divided it by 100. So in this case, we're going to do 16 and a half divided by 100. We need to change 16 and a half into an improper fraction. So we're going to take 2 times 16. It's going to give us 32, plus 1 is going to give us 33. And that's 33 halves. And then we're going to divide that by 100, or 100 over 1. So this is going to be keep it, change it, flip it. Keep it, change it, flip it. And now we look at things that'll go into 33 and see if they will go into 100. Well, 33, we've got 1, we have 3, we have 11, and we have 33. None of those go into 100, so let's multiply straight across, and that's going to give us 33 over 200. Okay, so that's percentages into fractions. Okay, how about fractions to percents? So fractions to percents. I'm just going to make up a fraction out of the blue. How about 4/5? If we're going to change it into a percent, we know that it's going to be a certain percentage of 100, because percentage is based on 100. We're going to set up a proportion and say we don't know how much of 100 this is. So our 4/5 equals an unknown of 100 percentage points. How do we solve a proportion? This is where we're going to multiply diagonally and take 5 times x, which is 5x. Set that equal to 4 times 100, which is 400. We divide both sides by 5. And so x equals 80%. This works for all fractions. We could take 12/13. And we're going to set that equal to x over 100. And so we're going to cross multiply. 13 times x is 13x. And 12 times 100 is 1200. We're going to divide both of these by 13. Now, this is where we'll discover that 13 doesn't go into 1200 evenly. And so in the directions, they may ask you to find the answer to the nearest 100th. So you will be allowed to use a calculator on this one. And when you take 1,200 and you divide it by 13, you come up with 92.307. Now, if I'm going to round this to the 100th, my 100th is the 0 space here, or the 0 is in the hundredth space. So I'm going to look one space to the right, and if that's 5 or above, I'm going to round that up. So this is going to be approximately 92.31%. Again, it's an approximation. It doesn't come out to be exact. Okay, one final one I didn't get to before, and we're going to be changing, in this case, a percent into a fraction. I'm going to, let's see, how about, how would I change that percent into a fraction? Now, we know percent is out of 100, so I can put 0.3% over 100. But now I have an issue because I can't have a decimal inside a fraction. So how can I change 0.3 into a whole number? If I were to move the decimal place one place, that would just make that 3. But if I move the decimal place on the top, I also have to move the decimal place on the bottom. So this was initially there, and I move it one space. So that's going to give me 3. Oh, pardon me. That's incorrect. That's going to give me 3 over 1,000. And 3 doesn't go into 1,000. So I simply leave it 3/1000ths. So again, move the decimal over to make it a whole number, but move the decimal on the denominator over the same amount as well. That should cover it up. That's about 7 minutes. Hope you enjoy the new microphone. Again, shouldn't be any popping or static. Should have some good sound. We'll see you guys tomorrow.